Welcome back to a new video, everyone. Before this video starts, I would just like to give a heads up that I now have a Discord channel that you can join. For example, this video, the theme for this video, I did a poll in the Discord server for all the ones that already joined it, where you could cast a vote for what topic you would like me to cover in the coming video, and in this case, the Prequel minifigures won that vote. If you want to be a bit more engaged in my community, you can always join that Discord server. So yeah, this video is me covering the top 10 most expensive minifigures from the Prequel movies of Star Wars. All the minifigures from movies 1, 2, and 3 of the whole Star Wars saga. If you want to see me make more videos of this in the future, for example covering other eras of Star Wars, or maybe only the TV shows or something like that, let me know in the comments down below. I always love to hear you guys' feedback, but for now, let's get into this list. On the number 10 spot, we have Aldarbido, or SW0979. He came out back in 2001 and sells for about 90 euros at the moment. This is probably one of the weirdest minifigures we've ever had, since it's just one big piece. He came in the set Watto's Junkyard, or set number 7186, back in 2001, as I said. Yeah, this is a very weird minifigure. There's no real structure to him as there is with other minifigures with the torso, legs, or stuff like that. It's just one big beige piece of plastic, essentially. But yeah, he's a very weird minifigure overall. There's not too much to say about him. Lego rarely does this, especially with Lego Star Wars, but they just make one big piece. The only minifigures that actually get only one piece minifigs are essentially small droids. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that they haven't remade minifigures in this style. On the number 9 spot, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi, the light up version that came out back in 2005, SW0137, and he sells for about 100 euros on Bricklink. He came from episode 3, and more specifically the Ultimate Lightsaber Duel set 7257, which features the battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan on Mustafar in the end of episode 3. Yeah, these light up Jedi minifigures only came in 2005, I think. Don't quote me on that, but they did a very limited production run of these light up minifigures and chose to not do it again, which I think is really a shame. But finding one now that has a working lightsaber that lights up is very rare, and therefore all of these light up minifigures are very expensive. And since they are so old, there are not that many of them that still work with the light up function. But overall, I think it's a very good minifigure for the time. Being 2005, you can't expect too much detailing from Lego going on here. He has a skin color, he's not that default yellow that they used to do back in the day. His legs are a very weird, like almost orange color that doesn't match the rest of the brown details on him. His cape and the hood are a very nice brown color, but his legs are basically a reddish orange color almost, and I don't really know why. But overall, it's a very good minifigure for the time, except for the legs, of course. But yeah, that's number 9. Next up is another light up minifigure, and it's Luminara Unduli on the number 8 spot. Minifigure number SW0116 also came out back in 2005 and sells for about 115 euros, and is also cited as a episode 3 minifigure. She only came in one set, which was the Wookiee Catamaran, or set number 7260. And again, I think it's a very good minifigure for the time. The headpiece I really like. I think they nailed it, actually. Again, the head print can be a bit bland with the just unicolor prints, and like the eyes are only blue, the mouth is only a slight purple. There's no real detail to it, but I guess it's what they could do at the time. I like the torso print. It's a shame that not many of these minifigures have leg printing, or arm printing for that matter. But again, finding a working light up lightsaber minifigure at this point is quite rare, and therefore she as well fetches quite a high price on the aftermarket, being that 115 euro price point. Next up on the number 7 spot, we have Agent Kolar, SW0421, that came out back in 2012 and sells for about 120 euros. He's also cited as a episode 3 minifigure, as he was featured in the scene where the Jedis go to confront the Palpatine in his office for being slaughtered, and therefore he also comes in the Palpatine's Arrest set, or the set number 9526. That set in general was actually quite a good set, featured very good minifigures, but this Agent Kolar is one of the ones that fetches quite a high price. Unlike the last minifigures on the list, this is a very well made minifigure in my opinion, especially now coming up on the 10-year anniversary of this minifigure, or actually passing it just about half a year ago. This minifigure is very detailed, the headpiece is exceptional in my opinion. The only thing that this minifigure could have done with is probably some leg or arm printing. Even without that, I think it's an amazing minifigure. I think the torso print is very good. I like the braids coming off him, and the headpiece nails how he looks in my opinion in both the TV shows and the movie. So I think it's an awesome minifigure, and a very well made one at that as well. On the number 6 spot, we have Queen Amidala, or SW0387. Came out back in 2012 for 160 euros right now on Bricklink. She features in episode 1 and comes in the Gungan subset, or set 9499. The thing that drags up this minifigure is the fact that she has a very unique dress piece for her bottom and a very also detailed headpiece. I think her entire kit is unique to this minifigure, so you can't get any of the pieces of her in any other set, and that is also something that helps drag this minifigure up quite a lot. The scene that comes to mind in my head when seeing this minifigure is when she looks out the window at her palace in Naboo in episode 1, and they have absolutely nailed that look in my opinion. I think she's an awesome minifigure, very well made. I basically have zero complaints for this minifigure. She's absolutely stunning, she's packed with detail. I think there's basically one of the most flawless minifigures from the prequel era, if not ever, in the LEGO Star Wars universe. Next up on the number 5 spot, we return back to the light up version minifigures with the Mace Windu minifigure that came out back in 2005, and it has the minifigure number SW0133, and he goes for about 170 euros on Bricklink at the moment, and is an episode 3 minifigure. Even though he's an episode 3 minifigure, he comes in a set that we didn't really see him in with the movie, and it's set number 7261, or the clone turbo tank that also came out back in 2005. I don't think we saw Mace Windu with a clone turbo tank in episode 3, so I think it's quite weird that they tagged this as an episode 3 set. Again, it's 2005, you can't do too much or expect too much of the minifigure detailing at this point. I think the torso is okay. It's a very basic head, a very basic minifigure overall, except for that light up lightsaber, of course. It's nothing special, it's an okay minifigure, but nothing more in my opinion. On the number 4 spot, we probably have one of the weirdest looking minifigures ever in my opinion, and it's the Watto from episode 1, minifigure number SW0038, one of the earliest minifigures in LEGO Star Wars history actually. He came out back in 2001, sells for 187 euros on Bricklink right now. Only came in one set, being set number 7186 as Watto's Junkyard. A very weird minifigure, his aging really shows compared to the updated version of this minifigure. The blue colors not even accurate, the legs are way too tall for him, and the molded piece that acts as his torso and headpiece is very weird in my opinion. The wings look awful. I guess this is what they could do at the time. This minifigure is over 20 years old at this point, so you have to have some oversight when looking at these older minifigures with the fact that they are so very old. This is one of the minifigures that hasn't held up too well, to put it mildly, but it is a very nostalgic minifigure. I have a soft spot for it since I had this one when I was younger. Number 3 on the list, we have the Anakin Skywalker light up version from the same set as the ObiWan we looked at earlier. It is SW0121. This is for about 190 euros on Bricklink right now. Came out back in 2005, together, as I said, with the same set as the light up ObiWan we looked at earlier, set 7257, the ultimate lightsaber duel. Again, a minifigure that the aging really shows on. Back in the day, they used to make Anakin with this hairpiece that looked absolutely dreadful in my opinion. Looks nothing like Anakin. The torso is okay, I guess. It reminds me of his episode 3 look, but headpiece and face is absolutely terrible in my opinion. I like the Clone Wars era more than this. I like the newer ones a lot more than this. They are a lot more accurate, but this is what they looked like back in the day. He's very expensive if you want a working one with the light up lightsaber, but yeah, it's one of those charming old minifigures that you have to keep in mind. He is very old when looking at him, just like the other light up Jedi minifigures. Coming up on the number 2 spot, we have Jango Fett, the angry version that came out back in 2017, SW0845. He sells for about 200 euros on Bricklink. He came only in one set, being the 71591 Jedi Starfighter with hyperdrive ring, where he also came with the younger Boba Fett, and of course Obi-Wan and R4 as well. This minifigure has exploded in price since it was released, but since we don't get Jango Fetts that often, and this is a very good, well-made minifigure, I'm not too surprised that this minifigure sells for so much as it does. He features leg printing that is very good, torso printing, a very nice jetpack, a well-made helmet, and of course a very detailed face underneath that as well. And all those factors, as I said, doesn't make me too surprised that he actually sells for as much as he does. Moving on to the first version, we have no surprises here. We have another Jango Fett, and it's the SW0053. Came out back in 2002 and sells for 490 euros at the moment. Also an episode 2 minifigure. He came only in one set, being the 7153 or the Jango Fett Slave 1. This set was a very bad set. Looking back at it, it looks very dated, looks very weird, but it's a very iconic set. The minifigure though, I think is, I like the flatted helmets, but the lack of arm and leg printing in my opinion really kills this minifigure off. The torso is okay, it's nothing special by today's standards, but it's okay. The headpiece with balaclava is really something. I think that if you turn the head around and only have the black piece, I think it looks better, because this whole balaclava thing, it doesn't do it for me. It really doesn't look like he does in the movie. But yeah, it's a very iconic minifigure regardless of what you think of him design-wise. He's very iconic for the whole LEGO Star Wars franchise. Even though he has quite a lot of flaws, I think it's a very cool minifigure, very iconic. But yeah, that is the top 10 most expensive prequel minifigures. So thank you all for watching this video. This was the top 10 most expensive prequel minifigures LEGO has ever made. If you want to see another list of this kind, possibly of some other categories in the LEGO Star Wars universe, please slap a like on this video, comment down below what you want to see next, check out the Discord server, check out the giveaway, follow me on Twitter, all those stuff, and I will see you all in the next video.